Can y'all hear me now, guys? I wanted to make sure everything's working. So I know I was making sure. I just want to make sure everyone's hearing stuff right now before we get started. Sorry, I had to switch to my new laptop too, so. All right, I'm going to go ahead and get started. I first want to apologize for this being delayed a week. I lost my grandmother last week, actually a week from today, so it's been a whirlwind for our family, so I do apologize for having to push this back a week. And since this whole week was a funeral and everything, so I do appreciate when I did announce all y'all that sent y'all's thoughts and prayers. We really felt them, so thank you for thinking of us. So let's go ahead and get started, because what do they say? Best things come to those that wait. I'm so excited to get to talk to you about weather radar, because this is one of the things I am very passionate about, is showing you all what I do. Let's see. Okay, now you can hear. Okay. I know this, I'm doing a new streaming thing, so I found a new program with streaming, so we'll see how this all works. But I'm going to go back, because I was talking for a little bit, but I want to go ahead and show y'all what we're doing. So today I want to take you inside something you may check every single day, but probably don't really get much thought to. I'm talking about radar, specifically Doppler radar, which is one of the most powerful tools meteorologists have to track storms and forecast the weather and keep you safe. But here's the thing. I do know I am showing y'all right now Middle Tennessee, and Middle Tennessee, finally we don't have any storms. So I'm so excited about that. So radar can look confusing. It's all these colors, spinning shapes, weird blobs on your weather app, and it can seem like a secret code. But my goal today is to break it all down in simple everyday terms, so by the end of this talk, you'll not only understand what radar is and what it does, but also able to look at the weather apps and programs that I'll go into detail about each one that I use, that you'll be able to look at it as a pro. Because I fully believe once you understand what you see on radar, it really helps with storm anxiety, and you'll understand a little bit more on what the TV meteorologists or social media meteorologists are talking about. So let's go all the way to the very beginning. What is radar? Radar stands for radio detection and ranging, which is basically a fancy flashlight. But instead of shining visible light, it sends out radio waves. Think of it as like shouting into a cave and listening for the echo. You shout, and then the sound bounces off the wall and it comes back. The echo tells you something is out there and how far it is. Radar does the same thing. It sends out pulses of energy, and if that pulse hits something like a raindrop, snowflake, or hailstone, it bounces back. By measuring how long it takes that signal to return, radar can tell us how far the object is. So the stronger the return signal, the heavier the precipitation. Rain, snow, sleet, hail, and the more intense the storm is. So what makes Doppler radar special? Okay, the Doppler effect. You know, when an ambulance passes by and the siren sounds higher pitch when it comes towards you and then lower when it moves away, that's the Doppler effect, which is a change in frequency due to motion. Doppler radar uses the same principle. When the radar pulse bounces off raindrops that are moving, say in a thunderstorm, it can tell us which direction the rain is moving, how fast it's moving, and whether the air is moving toward or away from the radar. And that's huge for meteorologists. It means we're not just seeing where a storm is, but how it's behaving. Doppler radar helps meteorologists detect rotation in storms, which can lead to tornadoes, as well as dangerous winds, hail, and heavy downpours. So what radar does the National Weather Service use? The National Weather Service uses a national-wide system of radars called NEXRAD, or which is short for Next Generation Radar. These are WSR 88D radars. Yes, I know that's a mouthful. So let's break that down. What does that mean? WSR, which is Weather Surveillance Radar. 88, which is the year that the design was finalized, 1988. And of course the D, Doppler. There are over 160 sites with these radars across the United States. Each scanning the skies 24/7. I don't know if y'all realize this, but the National Weather Service meteorologists, there is someone at the offices 24/7. And they rotate shifts. So there's always someone watching radar. No matter if there's nothing on radar, they're doing forecasting and all sorts of stuff. These radars rotate 360 degrees, sweeping the atmosphere in slices at different angles. They refresh about 4 to 10 minutes, which I know that's a big gap. So that's when meteorologists, like when they, those quick spin up tornadoes, those are hard to detect because the radar is every 4 to 10 minutes, which in the future, I believe they've been working down that. It used to be, gosh, I want to say 20 or 30 minutes, like years ago. So it's much better, but it's every year they improve on that. But in recent years, many of these radars have been upgraded with dual polarized technology, which means the radar sends out waves both horizontally and vertically, which gives the National Weather Service meteorologists a 3D view of the storms, which helps us distinguish between rain and snow, hail and heavy rain, and even birds, bugs, and smoke, which I don't know about you, but I don't know if y'all knew you can see all that on radar. Even fog, because I know at night sometimes you can see the green that's around the lake. That's the fog. And it also can help dictate tornado debris. So how do we read that? Let's see. I'm going to show you. This right here is Radar Omega. This is one of my favorite ones that we look at. So what you see right here, you see all these little dots right here, these green circles, those are weather cameras. Radar Omega, when you look this up in your app store, you just type in Radar Omega, and it's basically the Greek omega sign. I don't know if y'all, I can't really zoom this in, but it's the omega sign with a radar kind of in it, with a black thing. Let me show y'all what I'm going to pull up. Oh, real quick, do y'all want to see what the radar actually looks like at the office of Nashville? This right here is the radar. So, and it's right beside the office here in Nashville. So, how cool is that? I love this picture because it is with a rainbow. But that is what the radar looks like. Just a huge, it looks like a gray soccer ball, to be honest. But alright, so we're going back to Radar Omega. Radar Omega actually has three. Let's see. Oh, let me show you real quick. 3 subscriptions and add-ons. See, I have Alpha and I have the Rapid Suite. So what's the difference between the levels? See, Gamma, you get like reports, you can do double frames, and also I always have like the Alpha is like the top one, and Alpha is basically $19 a month. So let's go all the way up here, since I thought there was, let's see, I kind of want to show y'all a tornado warning. So on Radar Omega, you can go over here where it says like 35 alerts, and which you can click it and it shows you all the warnings and watches and everything that's issued. So let's go ahead and look at this tornado warning that's in Nebraska. So you want to hit this little thing. And another cool thing about Radar Omega is you can see these little green circles and dots. Those are storm chasers. I can't click them because broadcasting issues, but on your phone you can click them and it pops up their feed. So I love watching storm chasers all the time. So you can always just hit one and just watch them with this storm. So what can you see? With this one, this is the reflectivity. So let's decode the colors. You can see this light green, which is light rain. And then the yellow and oranges become moderate rain. And then red is heavy rain with some hail. And then you see these pinks, purples, light blues, whites. That is really intense weather, which is hail and very, very heavy rain. So let's actually, so that's reflectivity. This is something you typically see. But now let's go to what else you can dive into with radar. So I know you probably hear meteorologists say velocity. What is velocity? Remember this red and green? So this is where you look in tornado warnings, where you can see where the rotation of the storm is. I'm going to try and draw. I don't have this, I have this on a different screen, so I won't be able to touch screen it. So I apologize for my drawing. But let's first find the radar. So the radar is all the way down here. So the reds and greens. The green is wind going toward the radar. So the winds are coming this way, and red is going away. So see how, I'm going to draw a little bit better than that so y'all can see it. So the greens are kind of going this, oh, that's awful. And reds are going away. So you see that twist. So that's where the rotation is. So when you see that that tight, there is low level rotation going on. So that's why there's a tornado warning issued. And another cool thing is with this tornado warning on Radar Omega, you can click the warnings and it shows you tornado, but it can say radar indicated, or it can say confirm. And then you have the hail, which is some serious hail. So you can see that and how long it has to expire. And you can hit this, which makes you zoom into the storm. And then for the severe thunderstorm warning, it has the tornado possible. Another thing is you can hit those 3 dots right there, and the National Weather Service sends out like a little post about every warning and watch and advisory and statement that they do. So here you can see the office that sent out this weather statement. What time? And then it says a tornado warning remains in effect. A severe thunderstorm, blah, blah, blah. Hazard, source, impact, and all the cities that it. So you can basically see what the National Weather Service writes. So I know a few of you have asked, okay, Mackenzie, when you send out ETAs or time of arrivals for stuff, what do you do? This is actually the only program I have and can afford right now that does ETAs. So how do I do that? First thing is I click the tornado warning and go right here, back to where I was. And you go, it tells you right here where after the severe thunderstorm cable, 8 miles northwest, moving southeast at 25 miles per hour. So what do I do? On Radar Omega, it has this little angle kind of dots right here. So what do I do? I'm going to click that. I'm going to go based on this rotation right here. And you see this white line that also tells you the motion, the direction that the storm is moving. And each dot, I believe, is 15 minute intervals as well, and you can always click that too. But what I like to do is, okay, match up that line with the blue line that you see and click it. Okay. Boop. Didn't want to do. And then once you click this and let it pops up a screen that says enter speed. Remember that little message says 25. I always do like a mile per hour, or like say it's 25. I will do 27 just to give more of a heads up. And you hit calculate. Oh, so, and then it pops up this little area right here, which will say impact times. And it looks like there's only one town, Thatcher, and it says estimated 19 minutes. So if there's more cities, the list will be longer. So that is what I really like to do especially for ETAs. But also you can click this little red dot, which is sometimes the main center of a storm. And then you also can, so this little cell is called B9. And then you can also have southeast movement, 24 miles per hour. You can hit information, which, okay, there's a 100% chance of hail, 90% of severe hail, max size hail, 2.5, and that's all that. You can click these little blue dots as well, and those give you more of a time. So let's go, now that we've already done reflectivity and velocity, let's do coefficient or collision coefficient, or CC. What does that show? That shows how similar or different the shapes and size of radar targets are in a particular radar beam. So we're going to go to, here we go. This really shows us if there is debris. This is what meteorologists really look at to see if there is a tornado on the ground. Because yes, you can see all the velocity with how tight the red and greens are, but they really look at CC to see if debris. So what are the colors? So pinks and magentas and purples or whatever color, that is basically objects like rain or snow. but sometimes it kind of scatters, like these yellows and oranges and blues. The lower values, which is really the blues, if you see that lining up with where the velocity is tight, that tells you there's debris, which could be hail, but it can most likely, if it really lines up with velocity, it is like shingles, trees, part of houses. And that is where they can confirm tornadoes. If it doesn't really line up, it really depends on where you see the blues. If it's in where the hail core is, it's hail. So, is there any other questions? I know I'm probably throwing all this at you, kind of like a hot fire hose with all the water spraying at you. So feel free, if y'all do have any questions, or if y'all want me to show y'all anything else, feel free to throw it in the chat. So I am going to, so this right here, once again, is Radar Omega. Radar Omega can show you so much more stuff. Let's see. I'm gonna go right here and show y'all what our weather cams. Ooh, look at that sunset, looks awesome. So, and then it will show you also like outdoor temperature. So it's pretty cool that when there is a storm coming, you can look at these radar or these weather cams. But you might also be wondering, what are these? Let me go back from the CC because it looks all scattered and annoying. Well, this is 84. Well, that is the temperature at Portland's airport. So a lot of these little, like 82 Springfields, there's 82 down here at BNA. So all of that is all those airports. And when you click one, it will show you what the temperature is, the dew point, visibility, what the sky cover is, so it's clear. And then you can always say show raw text, which for those that love aviation, you can go all deep more into that. All right. Trying to see if we have any more questions coming in about Radar Omega, because I'm going to switch over to another site, because I'm going to also, with Radar Omega, you can go right up here and it shows you radar, models, satellites, and forecasts. So for Radar Omega, you can look at models, and there's several different models that National Weather Service looks at. So here's the HRRR model. So we can zoom out, and it also can show you all the models that we look at the forecast. So let me zoom in real quick so we can see. So this is tomorrow at noon. Looks like we might have some pop-up showers tomorrow once again. Ooh. And you can go up here and go to different runs. So the 00Z is running right now, and it's only 67% available. You can go and do the NAM, the ramp, wrap, and all, and the GFS one as well. And you also, when we do get tropical storms, you can even do tropical ones, and it shows you where the tropical storms are going. Another thing is satellite, which that's not really gonna show much since the sun is down. Let's see. You can see it over here in the West Coast just a little bit. And then you can also do forecasts. So here is the forecast. Let's see, that's dew points. Let's see, wind gust. You can look at all these forecasts. for like tomorrow and stuff like that. So let's go over here to the control panel for Radar Omega. I feel like I can do just a live stream on each different one because there's so much. It's like one of those apps you just have to get and play around with. And if y'all do get any of these apps and have trouble with anything, you can always message me and I'll gladly help out with everything. You can add several different things like hurricanes, but I don't even think we have any out there. So let's go back to radar. Now I'm going to switch to a newer one called WeatherWise. And WeatherWise is actually, you can see all where the heat warnings and heat advisories, which yes, we do have a heat advisory issued for us. Oh, they did extend it for 3 days. Okay, I figured we would have to extend it. So WeatherWise is kind of like Radar Omega. The only thing right now that I see a difference in is it doesn't really have an ETA where you can track the storms. I mean, let's go up to these storms right here. You can see those white lines that show where the storm is going, and each slash is 15 minutes. But you don't have that draw out and then that kind of list that we have with Weather Omega. But WeatherWise is actually free for you to download on your phones. I believe it is $9.99 per month for the Plus, which really with the Plus you don't really get anything different. But I get Plus because I have it on my laptop, and you do need a Plus for laptop. And for Omega or Radar Omega, you do have to pay for the alpha to put on your laptops as well. So, but you can have, I think I should have looked at it on my app store how much it is just to download, because last time I looked it was $9.99 to even download. Let's see, I'm actually looking real quick. Oh, it's not going to tell me because I already have it downloaded. Okay. So with WeatherWise, it is a newer one that has been developing the past couple months. So I feel like each update is getting so much better. So I do fully believe in the next couple months they will have where you can track the storms. So if that's the case, I probably will switch a lot to WeatherWise. I do believe on my live streams I'm going to mainly use WeatherWise and Radar Omega because I love how the radar looks for WeatherWise. But I do love having an ETA for you all when storms come in and radar streams and everything that Radar Omega does. You see all these little dots? Those are lightning strikes. So WeatherWise shows where lightning is. Omega does too, and Radar Scope does too. But Radar Scope, you have to pay to have the lightning. So WeatherWise actually also shows you outlooks where you can see where the slight risk of storms is right here for day 1. Day 2 looks like we're in the marginal one part, and then day 3 is just regular thunderstorms. And then you can go to day 4, day 5, and more. But when you're in day 1, you can also hit tornado. So there's a 2% chance of tornadoes up here in Indiana, Illinois. So that's another cool thing. You also can do this on Omega. So I know I get asked a lot, what programs do you really like? I will have to say my first one, I just love how WeatherWise looks. It's very, I say clean, but it probably looks like a mess right now. To all you, you're like, oh, where are these colors? And because I have all advisories and warnings and watches on this app. You can always turn off certain watches, and like sometimes I can go up here and you can hide some warnings, like hide all the warnings or turn them back on. And Radar Omega does the same thing. You can, I haven't done it on WeatherWise yet, but I typically only have like severe thunderstorm warnings, severe thunderstorm watches, tornado warnings, and special weather statements are basically what I have. I even have flood warnings on it as well. But let's dive into a storm. Let's go over here in North Carolina. These little with weird letters, those are where all the, like we talked about, the radar balls or Doppler radars, those are where they're located. So you can click one and then you can zoom into a storm. See how this is different than Radar Omega? Radar Omega only has the boxes, where this shades it in. And I don't know if I like one or the other. It's just, I just like knowing where their warning is. So you can also click it, and it also shows the information like the wind, when it expires, hail, and if there's a tornado possible. Yeah. And you can also see the offices that issued it, and you also can click one of these right here, and that switches the radars as well. Let's see. The composite right here is actually where you can see you don't have to do a singular radar site. It shows you the radar everywhere. So I just like to do the single site one because it's more detailed. You know how sometimes you can look at it and it's like, why is it all this green? And that says scattered. It's not rain or anything. It's just a scattered mess. Though it looks like Cookeville has a little pop-up going on, Silver Point area. All right. Let's see. Another one is Radar Scope. I do like how Radar Scope looks, especially looking at storms. But they still have time and all that. It's just, it does still show you where storm chasers are, and I've just gotten so used to WeatherWise and Radar Omega. When I do some screenshots to put on my social media, I use Radar Scope just because how clean it looks. I like to bounce back and forth. One has something I like better than the other. So, and if you're a weather nerd like I am, I love having all radar programs and apps. So Radar Scope, I feel like is the most expensive out of Omega and WeatherWise. So that's why I don't really use it much. And I believe it's like $14.99 a month, just regular, and then it's for, you get Pro or Pro 2, and it's just another thing with these. You can always go back to, I was going to show it, but I didn't upgrade Radar Scope on my laptop. I only have it upgraded on my phone because I have to do 2 different accounts. So you can click up here with the time and you can go back to a certain date. So, and Radar Omega and Radar or WeatherWise, I don't think you can go back yet, but Radar Omega you can. I believe up to like 3 months. So if you see like a cool tornado warning on radar, like on social media, and you want to go back and you can dissect it on. So I'm going to go ahead and click out of that. But I am going to show you all real quick, because I know I mentioned it before, but you can split the screens. And sometimes I do really like doing this. Let's see if it will. Sometimes it's very slow. But you can, this is very useful when there is a severe thunderstorm warning or a tornado warning, because I can do one as reflectivity and then one as velocity. So now I like using that too, so you can. And then let's go to more of a program that is not on your phone but just on your laptop, and it's GR Level 3. This is kind of what we use in meteorology school. When we go to college for meteorology, we use GR Level 3. A lot of TV meteorologists use it as well. And for this one, this is very kind of complicated, because you still have your reflectivity, velocity, and then you have your CC and the rainfall. You have to download a lot of place files. If you're very into computer and know programming stuff, this is really the program that you really, because up here you can see like flash flood warnings, severe thunderstorm warnings. Oh, and destructive. Let's go to where the destructive. Oh, it's not highlighted. On here, you can also pick out what colors you want to do for warnings. See, like for a tornado warning, I have it regular red. And then if it's like a confirm, I have it pink. And then if it's a PDS or tornado emergency, I have it pink and white. And it always flashes, and weather-wise flashes when there's a new warning issued as well. But when here, this actually goes to 4 panels. I'm gonna go. This one also is hard to follow around, like for when you have to click radar sites. You always have to go either site right here or just click the little dot. So right here you can make this reflectivity, and then make this one velocity. I'm going to make this one the other velocity as well. And then this one is CC. Is 0. So this one also is very helpful when there is a tornado warning, because you can kind of draw and match up where the velocity and CC is, and then you can look over at the reflectivity and show, does it all match up? And this is kind of what the National Weather Service does as well, is when you have to have so many different angles and panels and all this that they're looking at when issuing a warning. Let's see. I believe those are the main ones that I use. But once again, I typically use WeatherWise or Radar Omega when doing live streams. Is there any other questions? Because I feel like I've covered a lot of stuff, and I want to make sure, because I know there's a couple of questions on what is velocity, how to do time and arrivals, when is it going to rain, and all. I want to make sure I cover everything. So I'm going to look and see if there's any. I'm not seeing any other questions? I'm trying to think if there's anything else. I hope I've explained it really well for you all on what National Weather Service really looks at when they're looking at radar. What is radar? So when y'all do get any of these apps on your phone, when you can look at them, if you're out on the lake or out with your kids, if they have softball, baseball, football practice, you can look at the radar and be like, okay, it's going to hit us this long, or okay, it's just a slight storm. There's no lightning or anything. You can gauge on what to do next. And it also can ease your storm anxiety. But let's see. For weather-wise, right here is where the main controls are. You can switch it to velocity, CC. Oh, also you can do, when we do have storms, snow, which I hope we have a good snow. I'm ready for this heat to go away. You can always click on precipitation type, and it can show you if it's rain, snow, hail. We don't really have any good. The hydrometer classification is also the same as that as well. And then you can go over here to enhance echo tops, which tells you how high a storm is or how tall a storm is. So you can see, you can watch it on different radar loops and scans to see if it's increasing, because the higher it gets, the stronger it is. Also, a thing that I've used the past couple of days with how heavy is, you can see the 1 hour precip is where you can see how heavy the rainfall is. You know, when I was talking the other day on, I was putting like, oh, radar is showing an inch to inch and a half rainfall rates. This is what I use. It's the 1 hour precip. And then you can also go down here where you can see storm total precip, which is where you can see how, like, storm after storm, like how much rain that place got. Which you can do the same thing on Omega as well. I'm going to switch that back to. And it's all over here where it says high res reflectivity. You can go to, there's the dull that we talked about earlier. There's the precip where you can do the hour difference, an hour total. Oh, another one is the vertically liquid, which will also show the hail. And that's what I use. I'm going to show that in weather-wise, because that is, and I'm going to go up here where there's storms. Nope, I don't want that. It is all the way right here. So where you see like reds and oranges, that's where hail could be located. And of course, I'm actually going to move over here where we have our, up here, we go, to these storms up here, because see how it's purple? That is a major hail going on. I'm going to see. Only an inch and a half is what's radar indicating right now. So I want to see. This will, no, that's not going to. Here we go. This is what I was talking about, where you can see where it's hail, which is that peach and red color. It's just weird. So I think looking at this little curly cube right here, let's go on velocity and see. See, there is some rotation with that storm, but not enough for them to issue a tornado warning. And you see the brighter greens, that's where you can go in this little circle, and radar scope has the same thing. And you can put your little circle on around there. It can tell you, oh, right there, that radar. Remember, that radar is all the way down there, so it's showing high up in the atmosphere, like 47 mile per hour winds. And remember, the closer to the radar it is, the lower to the ground, because the radar beam shoots up. So that's why I like that Hendersonville is so close to the radar site in Nashville. It's because you can see a little bit more what's happening lower to the ground than you can, say, in Murfreesboro. Murfreesboro, you can see like mid-levels. That's why we really rely on T-spotters in the public to tell us, hey, there's hail falling. Here's a picture of the size hail we got, because we can see what's going on radar, but if it's actually happening, is the hail that we see on radar actually reaching the ground? That's why T-Spotter program basically connects the public and the National Weather Service together, because the public can tell T-Spotters, and then T-Spotters send it into the chat to the National Weather Service. It's a team effort. So we can say, hey, the public reported this. So they could be like, okay, we're going to keep the severe thunderstorm warning going. Or, okay, they're showing, they sent a video of clouds rotating, and we see rotation on radar. So, or someone sees a funnel cloud, and we can't see because the scans are 4 minutes apart. So that's where it's really helpful, especially when we have like quick spin up tornadoes, is for people to see funnel clouds and stuff like that. Because with how radar scans, a lot can happen in the minutes that it's taking the scan. So when we have those big long lines and we say, oh, we're going to have this quick spin up, so it's going to be very quick, and they're mainly weak tornadoes. But that's sometimes when they issue tornado warnings when the tornado's on the ground, and then as soon as they issue it, the tornado picked up. So it's in the near future. I do believe there was an article, and I have a friend that works at the Severe Storm Laboratory in Norman, and that's where they're working on the radars and updating warnings. She did say in the future that National Weather Service is working on warnings that will follow the storm. That it would help, because the National Weather Service issues warnings after warnings after warnings. But if we can have the warning just follow a storm, and just, if upgraded, the meteorologist can upgrade it and all, it'd be so much easier. And I can't remember if I shared that on our social page. I'll have to go back and see, because it's a pretty cool article on what the future of radar looks like. So, all right, it is almost 9 o'clock. So I'm going to see if there's any other questions. I did not see any but daring, but I'm gonna mess around for a little bit. But if y'all do have any questions, if there's something you're wanting to know, I'll do like a little list again on which radar programs and apps I use. I'll put that on social media so y'all can go and look. I'll take a picture or a screenshot of what they look like on the App Store. But once again, most of it besides WeatherWise is free just to download. Whereas Scope and Omega, you have to pay, I want to say $9.99 to, I forgot. I remember scope was actually like $29 or something before, but I don't know if it is still now. I tried looking it up, but it just says open, so it won't tell me. But then you have different tiers on what you want. But mine, the one I feel like most people would really want is WeatherWise. But also, if you want to really track the storms, I would do Omega. But you'll see me on live streams bouncing around, because if I don't like the velocity on one, I'll look at another one to confirm it, have different views and stuff like that. So that's a little bit of what I use and what National Weather Service looks at and how they use radar. So also, I don't know if y'all see on Facebook for the National Weather Service Nashville, I believe they are having what's called evenings at the National Weather Service, and you'll have to look up on their Facebook page, but you're able to go to the office and you get to see what meteorologists do there, and I believe you also get to help out with a weather balloon. So, and I do think we are keeping it at 20 people. So, and I think one or two more. I'll have to share it. I know I shared it earlier this summer, but all right. I'm not seeing any other questions or anything. I don't know if I will do another weather workshop, because the main two topics I think people really wanted to know was tied to severe weather, and I really wanted to do radar first because that's the one I love talking about, but I feel like best things are always kept last. So I don't know. I really don't know, because I don't know if there's a topic y'all else want to know. I mean, I'll talk about the future of Sumner. Severe WX real quick, of what I'm hoping to do the next couple months into the next year or so. There is another program called GR Analysis, which is kind of like GR Level 3, and it's able to track more. That is something I want to get, but it's $200 or so, and it's a lot of these programs are pretty expensive. So just for me to have them, I think I have too many no, you can't have too many weather programs. So that's another thing I'm hoping to getting. As you can see, I'm going to move back down to Middle Tennessee real quick. You can see these little kind of satellite looking things. Those are more weather cams, and they're called hazmats, and I'm hoping to get one or two of those in Sumner County. I know we already have a weather cam that's just on Radar's Omega right now, and I'm hoping, since that one's a little bit above Gallatin, I would love to have one in like Portland and one in Hendersonville, though you can see Hendersonville and Gallatin from the one that's above, which is on 109. So I want to do that. I want to upgrade the website a little bit, where when you go onto the website, it's not just my blogs or anything. I want it to have like a live radar thing you can watch. Also, I know a few of you have seen where I've started doing live streams just of radar, and I will jump in if there's like a severe thunderstorm warning issued or tornado warning issued. I'm going to start doing that. Hopefully in the next year or two, I can have like a 24/7 weather channel thing going, where it's just on 24/7, But for that, I'll have like kind of the setup I have right now that you can see. But we want to have like where businesses become sponsors and can have their ads going through, and have some kind of what TV meteorologists are doing now. For like, I know the guy that I love in Mississippi, Matt Lawbarn, he's now doing his own app and everything. And James Spann is doing the same thing for Alabama. I kind of want to do that for Sumner, where it's something y'all can turn to. And I know T-Spotter friend Anthony has a 24/7 for Upper Cumberland weather. So I kind of want to take Sumner up a notch a little bit. So I'm kind of excited about the future of that. A lot of it is waiting for sponsors, because a lot of people have asked me, what if we sponsored you in Sumner, what do we do? For being a sponsor, as you can see where I have a little thank you for patrons, which is people that have subscribed to, that pay money monthly, or ones that have given tips and all through Venmo, PayPal, and thank you so much, because I would not be here if it wasn't for you all. This whole social media platform is for you all. So if you became a sponsor, you would have your ads and business information just flipping through on live streams. I would do, hey, the temperature is this, here's a live radar. You would get posts on all the social media platforms saying sponsored by some dentist place or roofing place, with all information. You would get a ton of views. And when I get the 24/7 channel and app and website, your business will be all on that as well. So there's a lot you can do if you become a sponsor. But I want to thank everyone that has donated or been a subscriber. Hopefully, I know I'm only at almost 1,400 followers on Facebook. So if you follow me on Twitter, make sure to go on Facebook, because I'm on Facebook too. If you're on Facebook and you're on, I said Twitter, didn't I? So on X. Make sure you follow me on all social platforms. I'm also on Blue Sky. I am on YouTube. I'm trying. I want to see if I want to do TikTok as well. But I feel like that's still a lot of platforms. And I really want to do the ones where most people get on. So I still am just one person, so I don't want to do too much, but I want to get the word out for Sumner. I've also been having t-shirts made with the logo on. I did a trial, and the t-shirt is so comfortable, so I might start doing where you could do hats, t-shirts, book bags. I've also have car decals coming soon, so I would like to do that. But that's what I'm looking at for the future right now, is getting Sumner up and getting the word out more, because I feel like social media is where weather and meteorology, like the background and all that, now just being a meteorology grad and meteorologist, I can now officially say I'm a meteorologist. I'm so excited I can finally say that. So yeah, but all right, well, if there's no other questions, I am going to log off. Also, once again, I do apologize. I did have to push back this to tonight due to the death of my grandmother. So once again, thank you all for y'all's thoughts and prayers. They were felt, and we got through it. So thank you so much for hanging out with me on Sunday night. And I might do a couple polls and all to see if there's any other topic But I would like to do this probably once or twice a year, just refreshing for those, and for those that are new that come in. I love teaching about radar because I know I keep saying this over and over, but I really do think when people understand radar, it helps out with knowing how weather works, how to read it, and calm storm anxiety. Because that's when I did have storm anxiety, I really looked at radar, and I basically taught myself about weather and radar before middle school. And I actually really started in elementary school because this is what I always wanted to do when I was little, was weather. So I taught myself, and it really helped when I had storm anxiety back when I was young. So, all right. Well, thanks again for hanging out with me. I hope y'all have learned a lot about radar and all the different programs and apps that I use. And I hope I made sense and hope I helped y'all out. If there's ever something y'all don't understand on radar, feel free to send me a message or comment or anything. My messages are always open. So if you'll ever have a question about the National Weather Service, radar, severe weather, or anything, feel free to message me. Once again, my messages are always open. I love talking about weather to you all. I want y'all to understand weather. It's a really neat thing to understand, and I do know storm anxiety, especially with that tornado happened a couple of years ago. Well, I can't believe I think it's 2 years. That's crazy. I can't believe it's already end of July almost. But, all right. Well, good night. Hope you all have a great week. And I do know we are going to have a lot of heat advisories this upcoming week. So please, 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 if you are working outside, take breaks, drink water. I'll share a thing too, is check on elderly, animals, little kids, because with the heat index being probably around 105 most days this week, with little rain. So, I mean, each day does have where the afternoon chances of storms pop up. That's typical for Sumner. Yes, pun included. So, I know today we had a break, but tomorrow I do feel like, actually I'm going to click out of this real quick and do a little, I know I've said bye several times, but I'm going to do a little let's see if this one gives more of an update for you all real quick. Nope. I'm going to go back to 00 real quick. So this shows a little bit about 7 o'clock when everyone heads into work. Well, not everyone, but most people. And then that pop up once again right at 1. And then into the evening. So typical. It looks like Tuesday we might be dry a little bit, but we all know weather changes whenever it wants to. So, all right. Good night. Have a great